the top teams in the Eastern Conference travels to Connecticut to play a struggling club in their inaugural season. We've got Hartford Athletic versus North Carolina FC, presented by Barberino Nissan on ESPN+. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Corey Cohen with my partner, Chris Nurse. Let's take a look around the standings in the Eastern Conference. You see NCFC in 4th place at the moment, though Hartford Athletic in last.
Yeah, North Carolina in 4th place right now. One of the most, longest history clubs in the league. A good infrastructure of U23s right through to youth setup, and it's producing a lot of talented players into their first team right now.
Coming off a big win last week, we saw an eventual game winner from Stephen Miller scoring his 3rd goal of the season.
Yeah, Miller, a player who started his career as a right back, but manages to always find himself on the score sheet somehow. Again, coming up big for his team here to get that win over New York Red Bulls too.
And they're adding a lot to the attack with the announcement this week that they are bringing back Nazmi Al-Badawi, the homegrown product, is on loan from FC Cincinnati, back with his hometown club.
Yeah, it's great to see Nazmi back with North Carolina FC. Maybe it's a case of taking 1 step back to go 2 steps forward, because he's already proven that he was one of the top performers at the 2nd division level. He's recently been called up to his national team playing with Palestine, and it's a bigger addition for North Carolina at this stage of the season.
So we'll see what he can bring. Meanwhile, for Hartford, they've had a struggling start to the season. First 8 matches all on the road, but the last 2 weeks for them in USL Championship play have been a nice turnaround. They got their first win as a club and then got a draw last week.
Yeah, you see highlights of Angulo here. He had a fairly quiet evening last week against Ottawa. Dalgard was the player who came up big in that performance, drilling this ball into the bottom corner to get a point for his team.
So it should be an exciting match. We'll see if Hartford Athletic can keep the momentum going, get their 2nd win on the season. North Carolina FC on the road, trying to climb to the top of the Eastern Conference. Don't go anywhere, folks. We've got all the action coming up right after this on ESPN+. Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we are just about to get underway here at Pratt & Whitney Stadium at Rentschler Field in East Hartford. Again, with Chris Nurse, I'm Corey Cohen. Thrilled to be joining you for this one. Let's take a look at the starting 11. First, for the visiting North Carolina FC.
Yeah, obviously the big addition coming back into this team is Naz Al-Badawi, a player who proved himself at 2nd division level for the past maybe 4 years, got the opportunity to go up into Cincinnati, play in the MLS. He's come back on loan for the rest of the season. It may be a case of just taking 1 step back to go 2 steps forward, because he's already proved that he's one of the top performers in the 2nd division level here in the United States.
Yeah, he is a Raleigh native and is back with his home club. Now let's take a look at the starting 11 for Hartford Athletic.
Yeah, Hartford again adopting a 4-4-2 formation. They've gone with almost exactly the same lineup that played against Ottawa Fury a week ago, where they got a 1-1 tie. You know, Coach Nielsen decided to put his faith in that lineup and see if they can go out and pull off a similar performance again tonight. We already established that based upon their performance, you know, they doesn't quite reflect where they are in the current league standings, and we expect to see them rise up the table as the league continues now that their long extended spell of away games has come to an end and they've now got some home games to look forward to. It'd be interesting to see if they can change their fortunes.
They were hoping to move into Guillen Stadium about this time. Looks like that's going to be coming up in July. Now let's take a look at the injury report presented by Trantolo and Trantolo. Some big names missing. You see for North Carolina FC, Marios Lomas, the leading goal scorer for the club, third place in the Eastern Conference, is out.
Yeah, that's two big losses there for North Carolina, with Lomas being out, one of their top attacking players. Also, Austin Deleuze, you know, he brings a lot of leadership to this team. He's been the captain of this team, but obviously with Naz Al-Badawi coming back, they're able to counteract some of those losses and see how they can take this game this evening.
Max Steves, a big player, missing. For Hartford, he scored a goal and credited with an assist on the year. So, again, Guillen Stadium next month, but for now, they are rocking the Rentschler Field in Connecticut, and we are underway with Hartford Athletic hosting North Carolina FC. Should be a good USL Championship match. You never know what happens. Hartford now in the box early on the goal line. A low cross and a goal in the first minute for the home team.
That's going to be one of the quickest goals in USL history. Just 17 seconds on the clock there when Guillen's got hold of that ball. Drilled it across into the box. And I think it's Swartz who gets himself on the end of that ball to put Hartford into the lead.
Harry Swartz from Needham, Massachusetts, went to school at Northeastern, and here he is, still in New England, scoring just 20 seconds in here at home. And
Guillen does fantastically well. Gets the ball under control, drills it across the face of the box. You see Swartz perfectly times that run to land on that ball and side foot it into the back of the net. 1-0 Hartford just into the first minute of this game.
The fans are going wild. The 19th Regiment, among other supporters groups, have been great for this new club. And Harry Swartz gets things started in the first minute with a goal for Hartford Athletic, catching Alex Tambakis flat-footed. He's third in the East in saves. Couldn't do anything about that one.
Yeah, and Swartz has been one of Hartford's outstanding performers, if you ask me. His industrial work that he puts in for the team, you know, it goes unnoticed, sometimes unrewarded, but he's a hard worker, very determined, creates his own luck, creates his own opportunities. I think he's been rightfully rewarded on that occasion to get that goal.
And that is his first goal of the season, second assist on the year for Jose Angulo, providing a phenomenal cross. So what a start here. Hartford Athletic at the bottom of the table, and here they are getting a goal just mere seconds into this match.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing for Hartford is, speaking to Coach Jimmy Nielsen, he's always spoken about them going down a goal and having a mountain to climb. You know, getting the first goal in this game is massive for them. We spoke about last week, you know, the confidence they played with, and being able to get that first goal, you know, it gives the team a lift. Now going into the remainder of this half, they know that they need to maintain that and add to it.
North Carolina wearing the white kits on the road, Hartford wearing green. And this is an interesting matchup between these two teams in these two cities, because Hartford, athletically, up until recently, they've been known for the Hartford Whalers, their hockey team. That team moved to North Carolina. They became the Hurricanes, and so Hartford Athletic getting fans riled up. So here we see them in the attacking third.
Yeah, and obviously there's still a lot at stake, because earlier in the season, late April, I believe, Carolina beat Hartford 4-1. So they'll be looking to get revenge in this fixture and make sure that that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I saw they were saying, obviously, revenge for that game, but they were also saying, just get revenge on the city for stealing their beloved hockey team.
Yeah.
So, you know, rivalry, you might not expect it, but between Hartford and North Carolina, there is that bit of a rivalry, both on the pitch and then the cities at large.
Yeah, you know, Carolina have a very, very experienced coach who has both MLS experience, he has national team experience. So, you know, he will be very disappointed to see his team give up a goal so early in the game.
Dave Sarakin, the head coach for North Carolina FC, recently coming off a stint as the interim coach for the U.S. men's national team. Following the dismissal of Bruce Arena, Dave Sarakin took over. And after pretty extensive career at the club level, spent handful of seasons with Chicago Fire. He's now back in USL Championship with this NCFC team in their second season in this league.
And we spoke about, you know, Naz Abadawi coming through the North Carolina system. DJ Taylor now taking the front. He's another product of the youth system of Carolina. You know, he's played through the 23s. He came up through the youth academy setup, and now he's getting his opportunity in the first team. And that's a byproduct of the good work that they're doing in North Carolina as an organization.
They've got a youth club, U23, and then the pro club. That was a nice save by Frederick Douay, the Danish goalkeeper. A lot of Danes on this Hartford Athletics squad. The head coach, Jimmy Nielsen, a Danish legend, and he's got a ton of connections back in Denmark. So he knew a lot of these talented players, and a lot of them coming over directly from Denmark to play for Hartford, as we see a foul just outside the box. So a dangerous set piece coming up for North Carolina.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Nazar Badawi going and taking this ball. You know, he's a midfielder who always managed to find himself on the score sheet, either with driving runs into the box, shots from long distances. He also had a good record of getting assists also. So, you know, he'll be a big addition to the offensive side of this team.
So the free kick coming up now in the 5th minute. Badawi steps off the ball. So it's Ben Spies. 1 goal in the season, 2 assists. Takes the set piece, caught by Douay.
Yeah, fairly easy set piece. Douay would be very easily collected that one to his hands.
Douay hasn't had a great year. He's allowed 5 goals, only 7 saves. That's a 58.3% save percentage rate. Came over directly from the Danish Superliga. Little back and forth in midfield. One back by Stephen Miller, the Elkins Park, Pennsylvania native, just outside of Philly. Here's Raymond Lee, the left back, plays it central. In the box, a long shot off target from Angulo.
Yeah, Angulo's had a very, very opening start to this game. You know, he recently scored his 50th career goal. You know, see him, has a very deadly left foot. See the through pass here, gets out of his feet, drills it across, and that wasn't as far away as you might think.
A nice pass there from Wojciech. So now in the 7th minute, still a 1-0 lead for Hartford. Again with Chris Nurse, I'm Corey Cohen. Thrilled to be joining you for this one in a game that was turned upside down compared to expectations, perhaps, in the opening seconds. Here's a cross, a little too long, no one to link up with. Now sent in, a header on target right into the gloves of Douay.
Looks like the referee's blown for some kind of infraction here. But
Let's take another look.
Taylor over here is cross. Guillen collects it on the other side, drills it back into the box.
Yeah, a little pull there.
Yeah, just a little push before he went up for the header from Christo. Referee rightfully calls the free kick.
Christo not on the board yet this season with a goal, and part of that is because the striker this year has been Marios Lomas. A little too much on that through ball. Lomas with 6 goals and an assist, but he is out for this match.
Yeah, Lomas has been very impressive in the early stages of this season. You know, as you mentioned, he's got 6 goals, but he has very clever movement as a forward, and those goals aren't just by chance. It's a byproduct of his movement and intelligence, being in the right place at the right time, but also having the quality to finish when he gets in the situation.
Fans don't like that. It is a foul against Al-Badawi, wearing number 21. Again, he was just acquired, so they had to put together the jersey pretty immediately. You see the fans making noise. They have been great since the beginning of this club. Again, this being their inaugural season.
Yeah, the opening game for Hartford, I believe they had a little more than 11,000 fans, which is a fantastic beginning for them.
There's been unbelievable support, and again, they are renovating soon to move into Dillon Stadium, which I know they're excited about. Jimmy Nielsen earlier in the week talking about how this team is headed in the right direction, and oftentimes when you talk to coaches, that's just what they want, to be headed in the right direction. And after a poor start to the season, they got their first win 2 matches ago in USL Championship play. They got a draw last week. He says even in the draw, that was actually their best performance of the season.
Yeah, I think they did. They played very well last week against Ottawa Fury, but 8 road games to begin with, you know, that's a very difficult start for anybody, and it's unfortunate they get off to that start and find themselves in the bottom of the table. But however, they have the opportunity now to to get kick-started now that they have some home games. You know, you can see that confidence that they have. They're not playing like a team that looks like they're bottom of the table. They look like they could very well be up there challenging come the end of the season.
As you see the head coaches on this near sideline. Weather from Hartford, 73 degrees and sunny. At least until sunset. That'll be shortly after halftime.
Even though Hartford's obviously a fairly new club, Coach Jimmy Nielsen's worked with a number of these players before. You know, he's brought 4 or 5 of them from Oklahoma with him, so they understand what he requires from them as players. They understand what he's like to work with as a coach. So it's only a matter of time before they put things together and start to get some points. Because it's not essentially, you know, a completely new team he's putting together. It's players who understand how to play together, understand how to play under this coach, and understand what's already required.
Absolutely. It's rare when you see an inaugural club with so many players from 1 or 2 places. And for Hartford, they've got a ton of players from Oklahoma City Energy and a ton of players from Denmark. And between that, it really does not feel, at least on the roster, it doesn't feel like a new club.
Yeah, and of course, when you have a striker like Angulo, who I think he's the 3rd leading scorer in all-time USL history.
Here's a nice through ball for Hartford. Into the box. A shot from Wojcik. And a corner kick coming up.
And that should most certainly be 2-0 to Hartford. That's a golden opportunity for Wojcik, and he really should have put this one into the back of the net.
Wide open, one-on-one with the keeper.
He's gone straight at the keeper when he had the whole net to aim for. He probably should have gone over the keeper into the far corner, but that's also a very big save from Tambakis when his team needed him most.
Alex Tambakis, an Athens native, standing at 6'3", was with this club last year. 3rd place in the Eastern Conference with 28 saves. He's got 4 clean sheets and 80% save success rate.
Yeah, he's building a nice reputation for himself, and you know, people are taking notice of that.
Played back on this corner. Now sent into the box, over everybody's head. But last touch off North Carolina. Tambakis doesn't like it, but a corner kick coming.
Yeah, Hartford applying the pressure right now in the opening stage of this game.
And just based, Chris, when you look at this game so far in the first 10 minutes and change, 11 minutes, you would not assume that Hartford is the team that's at the bottom of the table and North Carolina's in 4th.
No, but you cannot just judge the game on the first 10 minutes. You know, North Carolina are a very good team, and they're 4th in the table right now for a reason. We know they have some very dangerous players. So each team throughout the course of the game is going to have their spell where they're attacking and where they're defending. You know, right now, North Carolina going through a spell where they're having to do more defending than attacking. But I'm sure as the tables turn, they're going to have their opportunities in the offensive half also.
Corner kick, and another one coming, but on the far side.
But I think Coach Jimmy Nielsen will be very impressed and happy with how his team started in his opening quarter of this game.
See some Hartford Whalers gear there. Again, the club encouraged fans to come wearing their Hartford Whalers gear, saying they stole our team, let's get revenge. Hartford proving that they are a phenomenal soccer city. As you see Jimmy Nielsen, the head coach for Hartford Athletic. They're a great sports city, but it's really being proven here with this soccer club.
Yeah, and they've hired a coach who understands the league. You know, Jimmy had a number of years coaching OKC. He obviously played at the highest level himself, both in the national level and in the MLS. You know, he understands the landscape that he's dealing with, and he's been successful. So it's only a matter of time before he's able to bring that to this franchise.
There he is, Jimmy Nielsen. Tough start to the season, 1 win, 9 losses, 2 draws. But again, last 2 matches in USL Championship, they've gotten 4 points. Looking for their first ever home win as a club.
And the point against Ottawa Fury, you know, many feel like that's almost like a win, because Ottawa Fury are described as being one of the best teams in the league by a number of head coaches, including Coach Jimmy Nielsen himself. He said that he thinks that Ottawa are probably the best team in the league. To be able to take a point when Ottawa obviously in the upper echelons of the league, Hartford find themselves in lower, you know, it really gives the team confidence, because they've proven that they can challenge with the best teams in the league.
So here's a nice ball forward. Now on the wing. Yamakani Chester into the box. Passes out. Little heavy touch from Al-Badawi. Here's Stephen Miller. Right on the ball is Raymond Lee. Sends it out of play, but a corner kick coming up for North Carolina.
And there we just caught a glimpse of some of Carolina's attacking threat. We see Chester there has has a very, very rapid burst of speed, you know, a quick acceleration in the box, able to get that yard, half a space to create goal-scoring opportunities. And, you know, now we see as the game progresses, Carolina start to use their offensive weapons.
So the first corner kick of the game for NCFC. Now chipped in, a header off target above the crossbar. A little too much on that header from Sam Brotherton, the center back.
I think really that should have been the equalizer there. Good ball into the box there from Taylor. Brotherton almost all alone, just doesn't head it down. If he's able to guide that one down, that's straight into the back of the net, 1-1. Carolina would have found themselves level in this game.
A couple missed opportunities so far, but a lot of excitement. Plenty of fireworks in these first 14 minutes and change. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality, as here we see the Select ball in the box picked up by Tembakis. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com.
Some good hold-up play from Wojciech. Finding Angulo. Angulo was just looking for Dalgard on the outside, who hadn't quite made the run. Keeper was able to collect that.
15 minutes played here. 1-0 lead for Hartford, given away and taken right back by North Carolina. Here's DJ Taylor, 21-year-old from Raleigh. Nice pressure here from Hartford. Now sent forward. Miller. Out to Taylor. Spees. Poor one touch from Taylor. It's now cleared.
There you see Al-Badawi in defensive third, just picking up the ball in those little pockets in between the midfield and the defenders that are very hard to mark. You know, on those two occasions there, he finds himself playing backwards, but if he's able to go in half turn and play forwards, that's where he's most threatening. But that's one of his strengths, you know, he'll drift around the whole field and pick up the ball and try to play creative passes forward. They're just seeing him come from the center, drift out onto the right. He's very hard to pick up defensively. And he's going to be a player that Hartford really need to mark closely if they're going to try to limit the goal-scoring opportunities for North Carolina in this game.
Big news of his return to his hometown club. And there's a foul on the play. North Carolina doesn't win a throw-in. Fans, Hartford Athletics' next home match is Saturday, June 8th. To show how much we appreciate our fans, we'll be offering $2 beers and $2 hot dogs through the 19th minute. Single game tickets start at just $10, and 3-game flex plans start at $25. Get your tickets today at hartfordathletic.com. Call the Hartford Athletic ticket office or email tickets at hartfordathletic.com for more info. Can't be $2 hot dogs. As we approach the 18th minute here from Connecticut.
Hartford have started the game in their familiar 4-4-2 formation, whereas North Carolina looked like they adopted the formation they play most frequently in the 4-2-3-1, with both Al-Badawi and Igbekoye sitting in front of the defense and Spees just playing as a number 10 in front of them.
Yeah, they've got in the diamond up top Spees as the attacking midfielder, Chester out wide to the left, Miller to the right, and again Robert Cristo starting up top with the injury to Marios Lomas. Fans making noise. You saw the sign Connecticut first in flight. I have to check the history books on that one. Not sure where they're getting that from, but I'm sure they know better than I do. North Carolina famous on the license plate as first in flight, so who knows, maybe there was a flight earlier from Connecticut.
The game's just settled down a little bit in the last 5 minutes. You know, Hartford were very, very aggressive in the opening stages, but both teams just settled down a little bit of needless giving away of possession. But we know that one goal is probably not going to be enough to get the victory against a team like Carolina with the offensive weapons that they possess. You know, it's going to be very interesting to see how Hartford continue to progress in this game, whether they continue to aggressively go after more goals or if they try to sit back and protect their 1-0 lead.
Entering tonight, North Carolina has scored twice as many goals as Hartford has. Hartford Athletic with 9 goals in the season, and CFC with 18. But so far, the better side in the attack has been the home squad. So there you see Dave Sarakin, the head coach for North Carolina.
And as the season progresses, I can only imagine that North Carolina are going to get stronger, as will Hartford, who have a number of injuries tonight. You know, Carolina have Deleuze to come back into the lineup, who's obviously, you know, a fantastic leader, left-footed, a lot of quality. He's been with the franchise a number of years now. Another homegrown player who went on into playing the MLS and came back to the club. And he's going to be a big addition for them also, not just in his performance, but the leadership and experience on the field as we approach the halfway stage of the season.
Raymond Lee sends it forward to Wojcik. And a poor touch from Aaron Guillen, the left back. It is recovered. Here's Sem de Wit, the center back from the Netherlands. Was with FC Cincinnati last year in their incredible season, best regular season in the league. De Wit, the real mainstay of this club, the only guy to start every match this year. Leads the team in interceptions, clearances, and passes. As we see a foul in the midfield.
Angulo doing a good job of bringing that ball down. He should have probably controlled it and laid it off. Probably overran it slightly, but the referee gave him the free kick, so he was able to maintain possession for his team somehow.
Nice through pass, but a heavy touch from Dalgard, now sent away.
And with Wojciech and Angulo up top for Hartford, you know, they're two fairly, you know, big, strong guys, but they both have very, very good feet for their size. You know, we've just seen Wojciech there, very delicate in possession of the ball for a big guy. You know, you normally expect them to be very rugged in possession of the ball, but both of those guys have very good feet, so defenders cannot just jump in at them and try to be overzealous in how they approach them, because they both have the potential to be very tricky in one-on-one situations.
Back to Raymond Lee, was a mainstay for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds last year. Here's a cross, a little too much. No pressure now on Chester.
Yeah, that's Dalgard there out on the left side, delivering that ball with the left foot, but we know that he can use both feet because it was against last week Ottawa that he got the equalizer, driving into the box, cutting in and drilling into the bottom corner with his right foot.
Mistimed on the through pass there. Cross to the near sideline. DJ Taylor forward for Miller. In his 5th year with North Carolina. Spies loses it. Now Hartford looking to counterattack. So my partner Chris Nurse, you were with North Carolina back when they were the Railhawks. Were you there at the same time as Stephen Miller?
Yeah, Stephen Miller just came almost in my last year. I think we signed him into the last half of the season, and he came in, you know, a really good kid, works hard, good quality on the ball, good engine, and as I mentioned earlier, somehow he always manages to find himself on the score sheet. Of course, back then that was when Colin Miller was in charge of the team. Now obviously Dave has taken over as the head coach.
Hartford still moving forward. Wojcik cuts back and is intercepted. Wojcik gets a foot on it. Now Chester. A lot of contact, and that's going to come back. We'll see a card, it looks like. And a yellow card issued to Kyle Karinga. They're right back out of Clearwater, Florida. As we take another look at that foul. Yeah, got his leg out there on the shins.
Yeah. Probably the first decision that the referees had to make in regards to any kind of bookings tonight, and I think maybe he has that one right.
24th minute. Outside the box, nice passing for North Carolina, stopped by Douay.
Yeah, just some intricate passing there in the final third from Carolina, and that's very much been their identity over the years. You know, they're a team that like to play up from the back. They like to play through the thirds, through midfield, into the forwards, 1-2 passes, passes around the corner. You know, they like to be creative in how they build up and play forward, and that's an example of how they play right through the whole system.
Hartford Athletic fans, be sure to vote for your Cigna Man of the Match on Twitter using hashtag CignaMOTM. We'll have that the results for you at the conclusion of the game. So here's Taylor. Third on the team in passes, nearing 500 on this young season. Dalgaard, another Danish native.
Taylor got himself on the score sheet in midweek in the Open Cup. Got the goal against Florida Soccer Soldiers that took Carolina, of course, into the next round where they'll face MLS opposition.
And next week, MLS enters the US Open Cup. And that game will be in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium. So we'll see how North Carolina FC does in that. Hartford Athletic being eliminated this past week. Wojcik dispossessed. And now sent back. Fans, follow Hartford Athletic and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+ and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com.
And it's exciting to see Chester out on the pitch. You know, he has big shoes to fill in the absence of, you know, long-time North Carolina legend Tisha Polani, who many describe as the human highlight reel. You know, he was such an exciting player to watch over the years. And now he's moved on. It looks like Chester's the guy that's going to try to fill that position.
And here he is on the far sideline. As we enter the 27th minute. Miller cuts back, nice move. Miller, oh, tough hit. We'll see it throw in.
When Carolina move the ball with 1 and 2 touch passing, they look very, very dangerous. When they move it quickly. When they move it slow, it's not really hurting Hartford very much. But when they get that ball down, moving very quickly, you can see spaces opening up, and that's where they're going to be able to hurt them in this game.
Here's Dalgaard. Dalgaard cuts in. Nice footwork, dribbling past a few defenders, now switches fields.
That's good play from Dalgaard.
Central now with Colin Martin. Wide to Raymond Lee. And intercepted. Down the pitch.
Yeah,
waiting for reinforcements.
It's a slack pass there from Lee. Hartford done ever so well. You know, Dalgaard dribbling 3 players, keeping possession. They went out to the right side, very patient, brought the ball over to the left side. And Lee just a very lazy pass there, giving away possession. Now they're on the defensive again.
Al-Badawi crosses, and that header well off target. Let's take another look at that pass. Good look from Al-Badawi, just couldn't finish it.
And he'll do that through the course of the game. You know, he likes to look forward. He likes to try to create goal and scoring opportunities for his teammates. And that's what he's going to offer to this team. You know, they're looking at how is he going to be a big addition to this team. You know, he'll provide scoring opportunities for his teammates. It just needs to be them to have the quality to finish them off.
Hartford Athletic would like to extend a special thank you to our title partner, Trinity Health of New England. 29th minute here. Again, Corey Cohen with my partner, Chris Nurse. He's played professionally, and including on the international level with Guyana.
Who, of course, are going to play the USA on the 18th of June. Very exciting game that everybody's looking forward to. I think you'll be surprised.
I'm excited to see the team. Did pretty well in World Cup qualifying last time. Fell just short of the final round of competition. Angulo forward too much on that through ball. Tembakis hasn't been challenged too much since the first few minutes.
Yeah, completely sent down. And you can see Hartford, they're content to not pressure as aggressively as they did in open stages. When they're in possession of the ball, you know, they're very content to also slow down the tempo of the game and really try to take the momentum out of Carolina. Carolina, on the other hand, you know, they're very good in possession of the ball. Very good in possession. So it's important that Hartford don't allow them to get that confidence by allowing them to possess the ball and create goal scoring opportunities. They have to recognize, you know, when's the time to pressure and when's to drop off. But if they allow Carolina the time to build and become more confident as the game continues, then it's only a matter of time before they go and get the equalizer.
Nearly a half an hour gone here. Get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for Hartford Athletic and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on Hartford's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. Now in the attacking third. Two defenders. No room. Still moving forward. Now in the box. The extra pass off Wojcik and sent away by Chester.
And we spoke earlier in the broadcast about Swartz, you know, and the hard work that he puts in. You know, he has the ball at his feet, he tries something, gives away possession, immediately it doesn't work, he goes and wins it back immediately and keeps the attack alive for his team. You know, he's very dynamic and aggressive in the way he plays the game.
Excellent run on that right flank from Swartz. Now they switch to the left wing. Raymond Lee on the ground wants a whistle. The fans want a whistle. Nothing, though, from Mark Allerton, the head referee. Playing advantage, though. Down a man. Here's Colin Martin, who takes a knock, and a dangerous free kick coming up after the foul with Colin Martin on the ground. Take another look at that. That seems to be a right call. Got a little shove in the back.
Yeah, it looks like Ibukwe just puts his shoulder into his back, and 100%, you know, it's a foul. If it's not shoulder to shoulder, the rules don't permit you to put your shoulder into somebody's back. So a very dangerous area here for Hartford to get this set piece.
Mads Jorgensen will take. 20-year-old from Denmark. Leads the team in key passes. Jorgensen actually cold called Jimmy Nielsen, the head coach you just saw, when he got the job and turned into a roster spot. Credit to Jorgensen for being bold. Here he is to take the set piece. Just outside the box, off the wall. And now a little chip forward, but caught by Tembakis.
Yeah, not the best set piece there from Jorgensen. Unable to get the ball up and over the ball quick enough, straight into the wall, and that was no threat for North Carolina there.
33rd minute. Hartford still leading after that first minute goal. Taylor is challenged and dispossessed by Raymond Lee. Here's Lee wearing the captain's armband. Off the head of Angulo and played back to Tembakis.
You know, while there's still a lot of time left to play in this game, you know, I think Coach Day will be asking his team to play with a little bit more urgency, a little bit more intensity. You know, they're playing very calm. They're not panicking at all, despite being down a goal. But in order to go and get that equalizing goal, they need to play with a little more urgency. It's very laid back and relaxed right now.
Off the head. Now played back to Lee, but given away. Just wide of the box, across, and a poor clearance, but it should be caught, and it is by Due. Again, there's Dave Sarakin, the head coach for North Carolina FC.
Yes!
Did a nice job last week holding on to a win. They were down a man, playing with 10. Held on to earn a 2-1 win over New York Red Bulls 2. Another one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, and possibly, you know, playing against a top team and picking up a win against a top team with just 10 men, maybe that gave this team a false sense of security. You know, they've had some good results in the Open Cup. They've had obviously a very good result with 10 men against New York last week. Maybe they approached this game against Hartford with the wrong mentality going into the stages of this game, believing that maybe, you know, it was there already won before the performance. And Hartford have shown in the early stages they're not just going to be rolled over. They've actually come out the more aggressive team and look like they've been on top for the majority of this first half.
And that's sort of the beauty of USL Championship, is no team ever has it locked in or is out of it. And so you've got a team, Hartford, the bottom of the table, North Carolina coming off a huge win over Red Bulls 2. And yet, it is Hartford Athletic with the lead.
Yeah, and you also have to assess the factors. Having eight games away at the beginning, you know, that factor cannot be underestimated. Now they're going to have a run of home games. Now we're really going to see the true Hartford and what they're really capable of over the course of the long season.
Here's the corner kick in the 36th minute. Headed up. Still in the box. Deflected. Kept in play by Jorgensen. Will just usher it past the goal line, so another corner kick coming.
Yeah, that first corner from Jorgensen was actually a very good delivery. It missed out the first man in the near post area. There was just no one from Hartford attacking that area, but it was actually a fantastic delivery.
Jorgensen waiting. Wants to take it. There's a little pushing and shoving in the box. So they'll get a talking to from Mark Allerton. It's good from Logan Gadula. You see number 24, the center back, saying, I'm standing right here. I'm not going to move. And a foul. The goal does not count. Found the back of the net.
And if you heard the coach, you'd be frustrated with stupidity because it's a perfect set piece that's nearly undefendable. It's ended up in the back of the net, and they've conceded a stupid foul by Gadui, continuing what the referee just warned him to stop doing. Had he behaved himself, they'd probably find themselves 2-0 in the lead right now.
Next Ed Ball will take another look at that to see what that foul was. If it was warranted, but that's tough. Down the pitch.
Smart play there from Angulo, just to glance that header in the direction of Swartz out on the right-hand side.
A touch. Now sent away from the box. Now in the midfield with Carolina. Miller.
Good dummy there from Miller.
Stephen Miller. Lee catches up. And Miller just plays it off to his teammate. Now across from Igbekoy. And past the goal line. So let's take a look at that corner kick that turned into the goal that wasn't a goal.
It's actually an own goal from Miller, but...
And so the foul actually away from the ball, I believe, was that on Swartz?
If
Gadula.
If Gadula hadn't given away a foul there, I think for sure Hartford find themselves 2-0 in the lead.
So that is especially frustrating for Hartford Athletic. So close.
Overall in this first half, North Carolina have been poor offensively. You know, I don't think they've really created any true goal-scoring opportunities, and you know that speaks about how much they're probably missing Lomies in this game. He's been their go-to player, and they've not quite figured out how a way to play without him tonight.
Marios Lomas with 5 goals last season, 6 goals already this year. Again, 3rd place in the Eastern Conference in that category. We haven't heard much from Cristo, not much from Ben Spies or Chester. Miller has made some noise in the right flank. That's about it. Here's Angulo. Cannot link up with Wojcik.
And this is a good opportunity for Cristo. You know, Lomis has Of course, he's kept his place in the team because he's been performing, but this is an opportunity for Christo to stake a claim for that starting place in the team by taking advantage of the opportunity tonight and performing well and looking like an offensive threat. In the opening 37 minutes, we've not really mentioned his name too often in dangerous positions. Miller there just giving away the ball there, looking for Al-Badawi in the middle, but just not putting enough on that pass.
There's Dalgard. And the Viking clap from the home fans. Wojcik, born in Poland, raised in Illinois. Played for Jimmy Nielsen in Oklahoma City. All the way forward is the center back, Sem DeWitt. Now Colin Martin. Gadula, another player on loan from FC Cincinnati. It's the 13th pick in this year's MLS Super Draft out of Wake Forest.
Yeah, I really think Coach Jimmy Nielsen will be happy how his team's approached this first half. You know, they've looked dangerous in front of goal, but they've also been responsible in possession of the ball. They've understood when's the time to slow it down, when's the time to play quickly, and Angulo's looked like a threat for the whole of the first half. So I think he'll be very impressed with how they performed in the opening stages of this game.
Still over 5 minutes remaining in this first half before the intermission.
And of course, Hartford also a team that's struggling with injuries. A number of injuries picked up this week with the Open Cup game. They actually have 2 goalkeepers named on their substitutes bench today because they're struggling with numbers. So as the season goes on, of course, they're going to get stronger.
They have had a little back and forth in goal between Frederick Douay and Jacob Lissick. Lissick actually has the most saves in the Eastern Conference this year. But Douay getting the start tonight. So there's Gadula. Playing not from home, he actually grew up in Connecticut. Still moving forward, playing advantage, off the deflection.
Swartz again, we talk about his work rate. He's a player who creates his own luck for his hard work. He doesn't give up on anything. You know, there's many times when you think that he's lost it or it's not his there to win, and he just keeps going, he keeps going, he keeps going. You know, he's a real, what do you say? He's inspirational on his teammates. You know, his work rate is contagious. You know, it breeds to the rest of his teammates. When they see one player that's working hard, it's contagious to the rest of his team.
North Carolina into the attacking third. Here's Miller. Been one of the few bright spots so far. The cross!
Oh, that was a great ball there from Miller. Infectious was the word I was looking for in regards to Swartz. Infectious. His energy and his work rate is infectious to his team.
I mean, you've got the King's English. I'll go with whatever you want to go with.
We spoke about Al-Badawi, of course, coming back to North Carolina, but obviously Carolina this week also lost McCabe, who was recalled by Cincinnati, who was a mainstay in the midfield, a very important player, but Cincinnati have recalled him back from loan for the remainder of the season, so they'll be without him for the remaining games.
And that is a big switch. We haven't mentioned him because we've talked about Nazmi Al-Badawi. It was essentially a swap. Al-Badawi with FC Cincinnati, and Tommy McCabe on loan here with North Carolina. They recalled McCabe and then in return gave back Al-Badawi, who had yet to play with the MLS club. And so, yes, you do gain a talented player in Al-Badawi, but you are missing a lot in Tommy McCabe. He was more of a defensive midfielder, but he truly controlled things for this team. He was really an anchor. 85.5% pass accuracy, and now he's gone.
Yeah, a player who came through a youth national team, very talented, very technical player. You know, they'll miss him, but at some point Al-Badawi has to step in and fill that position. Al-Badawi, obviously a player with his own national team experience, playing for Palestine national team. You wonder how things really panned out from him moving to Cincinnati. You know, North Carolina, a franchise who averages maybe 4,000 fans. Cincinnati, a franchise that averages 25,000. So we know Al-Badawi's abilities and his capabilities as a player because he's done it for years at this level of Division 2. But it's interesting to see maybe things didn't just work out for him at Cincinnati, and if he's going to get another opportunity to go into the top level and test himself again.
Al-Badawi from Raleigh, went to NC State in Raleigh. Now in the 44th minute.
Yeah, and if you've watched North Carolina teams over the years, whether it be the Wake Forest teams, the university teams, the whole region has an identity in the style of play. They like to play complete soccer from front to back, and that goes right through the North Carolina FC set up the same way, you know, with coaches like Dwan Bader who have, you know, trained and brought up a lot of these players. You can see a certain style and characteristics in the techniques and talents of the players that they select and sign, and that's the identity and culture of North Carolina soccer. Obviously a huge hotbed for talent.
Absolutely, and again, you know, from experience playing with them back when they were the Railhawks.
Yeah, back then, Indy head coach Martin Rennie was actually the head coach in 2011, and when I returned in 2015, Colin Clark was their coach. But the identity of the team and the way the team played, it never really changed.
Hartford Athletic would like to recognize the Hartford and all of its founding partners for the 2019 season. Got an extremely successful start, at least off the field in terms of support and excitement. Now hoping that they can catch up on the field. They've gotten 4 points in the last 2 matches in USL Championship, hoping to bring that up to 7. Taylor, nice move. Couldn't connect with Al-Badawi. Just 1 minute of stoppage time.
Yeah, there hasn't really been any injuries or any sustained periods of stoppage in this first half. As we mentioned, I think Coach Jimmy Nielsen will be very happy with his team's performance in the first half, but it's only the first half, so they need to go out and replicate that in the second half if they want to get this result. Carolina, on the other hand, I think we'll see a completely different approach to the game in the second half, because in the first half hasn't been great for them.
Through ball and a poor touch. So here is Swartz, the goal scorer. Swartz centers it. A touch from Wojcik, and Gulo can't get a touch. Fans wanted a foul, and Gulo's so close.
Yeah, I think a tough decision there for the referee. It looked like Angulo was through on goal, and the defender just used his body to nudge Angulo to ground, but the referee did it, viewed it as a fair interception, and did not blow for the penalty kick it would have been.
But there is halftime as we take one more look at that.
Swartz again starts it. Wojciech. Dubious.
Yeah, it's tough. He didn't have positioning, but there is, you know, there is some contact, so
yep.
It's always a tough call in the box. You never want to do too much if you're the referee and tip your thumb on the scale, but sometimes you make the call. So it is halftime now. Hartford Athletic with a 1-0 lead after scoring 20 seconds in with this goal from Harry Swartz. Keep it tuned. We've got halftime for you coming up on ESPN+. Halftime here from Rentschler Field in Connecticut between Hartford Athletic and North Carolina FC. It is a 1-0 lead for the home squad. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule in USL Championship. You talk about Jimmy Nelson's former team, Oklahoma City Energy, and New Mexico United, which has been the story of the league this year, an inaugural club, and they have been phenomenal.
Yeah, both teams are in some good form right now, but I like Fresno. I think Fresno have been underestimated, and the underdogs who are performing very well right now.
And of course, Phoenix Rising FC making it to the championship last year. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for Hartford Athletic. Again, they started the season with a string of road matches, 8 to start, but here they are with a nice little extended home streak.
Yeah, you see 3 out of the next 5 games are going to be at home, and this is going to be the turning point to decide what they're actually capable of achieving this season. We've heard Coach Jimmy Nelson talk about having 8 games away from home. Well, now they have their home games. Now's the time to perform and show people that they're really a team to be reckoned with this season, and that where they are in the standings in the early stages is a result of just having that extended spell of away games. Now it's time to turn that around. Pick up points at home, pick up wins, and start to climb that table.
And they are certainly starting well in this game. Now let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for North Carolina FC. They've got a big game coming up with Tampa Bay Rowdies currently at the top of the table.
Yeah, again, look, another team who's going to have 3 out of 5 home games. But it's going to be, that's a big game for them against Tampa Bay Rowdies. You know, Carolina is a team and a franchise who expect to be number 1. 2011, we were the regular season champions, so I know that's something Coach Davis is going to want to try to replicate and probably better this season in 2019. Can they be regular season champions and push for the championship also in the playoffs? Yeah,
a lot of good teams. Talk about the Rowdies. Nashville SC currently in 3rd place. So a lot of good matches coming up around the league. We've got a good one for you tonight, though. 1-0 Hartford Athletic. Don't go anywhere, folks. Still halftime here from Connecticut.
Statesboro, it's like this little oasis of a location.
I think Statesboro loves itself. It's the first thing I would say.
This is a win for the community. Not only are we getting a professional level soccer team, a sport that's loved around the world, but we are now creating an economic development area that's going to have a huge impact on our community and throughout this region.
Let's do it.
I'm not surprised, to be honest, that Tormenta was one of the first teams approached when League One came about. I think it was blatantly obvious to everyone that knew anything about American soccer that Tormenta was a force in League Two, and everything from top to bottom was done so professionally that I had a good year in college and I had some other looks, but for me, I wanted to be at Tormenta FC, and I knew there was 10 other guys coming back here that I knew were bought in and they have the same goals that I do.
This is the first step of a very, very, very long journey. This is a league match. We set some pretty lofty expectations for results this year, did we not? Okay?
Getting here, okay, is a good place to be. And now, what you guys need to do is take it that one step further.
Family, boys! Family, family, family!
Yeah!
Into the box, a strike, and a goal. Halftime here from Rentschler Field in Connecticut. Again with Chris Nurse, I'm Corey Cohen. 1-0 is the score. Hartford Athletic on top. Let's take a look around USL Championship with news and notes from the league. You see here Loudoun United FC making a change in the head coaching position. You talked about the U.S. Open Cup. We mentioned North Carolina. They advanced to take on NYCFC of MLS, and so now it's going to be really exciting to see USL Championship go up against the top division MLS and see if they can take down some giants.
Yeah, of course, North Carolina FC, they have a history of taking down MLS teams over the years in the Open Cup, and Coach Dave has come in and continued that historic run that they have, and they're going to look forward to going to take on a New York City FC, and I wouldn't underestimate a big cup upset there, because they're the underdogs in cups, and they've turned over a few MLS teams.
Yeah, it should be exciting. And then you see San Antonio FC and New Mexico United with some big matches coming up. Now let's take a look at the scores from around the league happening at the moment. So you see halftime for two other matches. Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC continuing their season as they started out hot. They've struggled a little bit, but they are currently leading Indy 11 in a bit of an upset. And then Louisville City FC up 2-0 over Charleston.
Yeah, obviously Indy now coached by former North Carolina coach Martin Rennie. Sure, he'd be looking to get his team back into the game in the second half. Louisville obviously looking to replicate what they did last season and become champions again. Started off very strong and 2-0 up at halftime against a very good Charleston team also.
Louisville City, if they hold on, they would tie. If the scores hold, if North Carolina cannot catch up and Louisville City does hold on to that, then they overtake North Carolina FC into fourth place. As we take a look at the standings here, you see North Carolina FC there. Louisville City currently with 18 points. A win could propel them, but NCFC still in a good spot. They've still got 45 minutes.
They've got 45 minutes, and you can see they also have a game or two in hand over the teams ahead of them. So there's some points there for them to catch up with, but they need to make it count. And if they don't pick up this win this evening against Hartford, it's going to be 3 points lost and an opportunity to climb that table missed.
And we mentioned for Hartford Athletic looking for just their second win as a club. They're at the bottom of the table. You don't see them here, but a big opportunity coming up. 45 minutes to play. We've got highlights, stats, and all the action coming up right after this.
Get ready for the Travelers Championship. So many top players.
There he is! Wow! Oh my goodness!
So many great moments.
Bubba takes the title again. They saw one of the shots of the year.
The Travelers Championship. So many reasons to be there.
Where some see a barber, I see a magician. I see Hugo, of Hair by Hugo. Wizard of whiskers. Sorcerer of scissors. Houdini of hair. Hugo is a small business owner. Me, I'm the Hartford Buck, and I see nothing small in small business.
The Hartford Small Business Insurance. The Buck's got your back.
Nick, we need a decision. These days, we all feel a little anxious sometimes. But if you could see inside my mind, you'd find I go to my happy place. See, if we let tensions run the show up here, then our bodies won't perform at their best out here.
Wait, are we going to the sound check?
Priorities. So I'm partnering with Cigna to remind you that how you're doing emotionally affects you physically. Go for your annual checkup and be open with your doctor about anything you're feeling, physically and emotionally. Body and mind. Cigna, together all the way.
Halftime here, 1-0 is the score. So we mentioned this sign earlier, Connecticut first in flight. Of course, North Carolina known as first in flight. It's on their license plates, but did a little research, did some digging, and a handful of years ago, a historian claimed that there's evidence that it was actually Connecticut where the first flight took place. A German immigrant named Gustav Whitehead, apparently 2 years before the Wright brothers in Kitty Hawk set off in Connecticut. And so As it turns out, I saw the mayor of Bridgeport, Connecticut, where it happened, said our license plate should say "Firster" in flight. So apparently Connecticut lays claim to it. Just another one of these rivalries that you might not expect between Connecticut and North Carolina.
Fun facts. Always good to hear new fun facts.
Yeah, I'm telling you, a big shout out to the fans here, the 19th Regiment, Mad Hat Massive, and Elm City Casuals for teaching us all a little bit something on this Saturday night. So halftime here, let's take a look at the highlights from the first half of play between these two squads. Started early, 17 seconds in was the goal.
Yeah, and Guillen there, fantastic delivery, but Swartz, well-timed run into the right area there, in front of the keeper, easy tap-in, but well played, great start for Hartford.
An excellent finish from Swartz, and as you said, great cross from Angulo. So such an early start for Hartford Athletic. They've been able to hold on. They nearly got a second goal.
Yeah, Angulo again getting that ball out of his feet. Tries to whip that one into the bottom left-hand corner, just wide of the post, and you can see how close it was with the keeper scrambling across.
And they kept pushing forward. Wojciech right into the keeper.
Yeah, this really should have been a goal from Wojciech. He has a lot of time, gets the ball at his feet, lifts his head. He sees the keeper coming out. Should have opted to go over him into the far corner rather than under him.
After the first few minutes, though, North Carolina shook off the cobwebs. They came alive, nearly the equalizer.
Yeah, there's DJ Taylor with a fantastic delivery into the box there. Wins the header. If he directs that down, that's a goal.
Sam Brotherton, the center back from Auckland, New Zealand, just off target. Then we saw a ball find the back of the net, but a foul called against Hartford as we take another look at this foul.
We spoke about Jorgensen's delivery. Good delivery. Miller, own goal. Goodall gives away a foul. Unfortunately, the goal was disallowed.
Logan Goodall, the Connecticut native, called for the foul, so it remains 1-0. You take a look at the stats. Possession remarkably even. Shots on target even. Hartford with a couple more shots, but for the most part, this match seems pretty even. It's gone in some waves. Hartford, of course, started hot really early. North Carolina then seemed to find their footing.
Yeah, the stats fairly matched, but it just shows Hartford just slightly the more aggressive team in the game. Possibly the first 15 minutes when they came out really aggressive. Carolina have yet to really prove to be dangerous in the attacking third, and I think halftime is where coach is going to address those issues and probably come out with a different tactic going into the second stage of this game.
Should be a thrilling 45 minutes as we are about to see. We saw plenty of fireworks early on, and we will see what happens here. Hartford wearing the green kits, North Carolina in white on the road.
You know, and we can see this Hartford team starting to grow in confidence and as a unit as the season progresses. Coach Nielsen has spoken about the win against Ladue, the win against New York Cosmos, the good performance against Ottawa, how the team's now starting to perform and play better. And we've seen that in the opening stages of this game. It's going to be interesting to see if they can maintain that for the full 90 minutes of the game. It's going to be interesting to see how Carolina counteract that at the beginning of the second half.
Take a look at the fans here, 19th Regiment, Mad Hat Massive, and Elm City Casuals, who have all been great in this inaugural season for Hartford Athletic. The fans have been stellar up here in Connecticut. Really remind everyone this is a great sports area, sports state. And they adopted the colors, green and blue, from Hartford Whalers, the team that left Connecticut, went to North Carolina, and you see plenty of fans wearing their Whalers gear, as encouraged by this club, since the hockey team was, as they put it, stolen by North Carolina. Became the Hurricanes. Now they are trying to get revenge with a win on the pitch.
And of course, if this result was, the scoreline was to remain the same for the remainder of the game, it would break Carolina's undefeated streak of 4 games that they're in right now. Albeit they've only won 2 out of their past 5, they've been unbeaten in the last 4. If Hartford were to go ahead and manage to see this game out to the end and get the 3 points, it would break that unbeaten streak for Carolina.
So the second half underway here from Rentschler Field. Again with Chris Nurse, I'm Corey Cohen. Thrilled to be joining you on this Saturday night from Connecticut. An early attack, a long distance shot, too much power from Jose Angulo.
Yeah, it's a nice effort, and it states the intent of Hartford going into the game. You see Angulo holding his hands up there, but that's not the worst effort. You know, if you don't shoot, you don't score. So you don't blame Angulo there. He has the quality in his left foot, and I wouldn't put it past him if you see one of them necessarily in the back of the net later on in this game.
Miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott. And that was certainly a shot from Angulo. Just a little too much from the Patterson, New Jersey native, as well as Colombian. He's been a great veteran presence on this team, 31 years old. He's been a journeyman, a lot of different teams, and when you've got a new club, again, you've got players from OKC and you've got players from Denmark, but it always helps to have a guy, when you are starting a new club, who really knows his way around the league, around this sport.
And he knows where the back of the net is. You know, you cannot underestimate how difficult goal scoring is in itself, and to be able to be in the club of 50, you know, there's not too many players who have scored 50+ USL goals. I believe he's third in all-time scoring in the USL. You know, that's not an easy feat. You know, he deserves his right. His reputation is built in the league. You know, you can see he's dangerous and he has quality in that left foot.
He's been great. 3 goals on this season. A little heavy touch from Dalgard. It's taken away.
Coach Nielsen told us about, you know, he had a turbulent 2018, struggled with a lot of injuries. However, he's now starting to come back to form, and he says the best of Angulo is still yet to come.
Kyle Karinga. Some pressure now. Nice pass from Angulo.
And that's the importance there. When the ball's played forward, he's able to hold it and keep his team in possession so that midfielders and wingers can get up to support him. You know, that's the integral role that he plays. As well as being able to score goals, he's able to hold the ball up in the attacking third and bring other players into play. You know, fantastic play there from Angulo.
A little back and forth in the midfield from North Carolina. Solid passing.
And it's a little frustrating watching Carolina right now because they have the weapons and the players to play quickly, but they're playing so slow and sluggish. It's not threatening, and it's not really you know, very exciting attacking-wise to watch. They have to play quicker with more intensity, more tempo in the way that they're playing.
Nice cut there. Forward for Angulo. Heavy touch, and now played back by Sam Brotherton. Brotherton, just 22 years old, already 12 caps for the New Zealand national team. Was previously with Sunderland. Now all the way out of the box. Well, it doesn't matter. The offside flag is up. Brotherton, having left Sunderland, they've faced a tough time in England, falling down the ranks from the Premier League.
Yeah, of course, we have to congratulate Liverpool. I'm a Chelsea fan.
I'm a Tottenham fan, so it's a little tougher for me to congratulate them.
Congratulations to Liverpool on picking up their 6th European Champions League title.
As a Tottenham fan, I was just hoping for one. Here's Karinga. That pass to nobody. And you hear a guys come on from the sideline.
Yeah, just a little mix-up in communication there, but still no threat against Hartford so far in the early stages of the second half. You'd expected Carolina to come out with an urgency and almost try to replicate what Hartford did to them in the early stage of the first half and try to get an early goal. But, you know, they've been a little bit laid back and lax in their approach to the game so far. It's going to be interesting to see what influence the substitutes play as this game progresses.
51st minute. Not much creativity from North Carolina so far. Now the counterattack, through ball, too much for Wojcik, and it's cleared by Timbakis.
Yeah, the through ball just a little too far, Wojcik. I feel like if he'd have been a little bit more intense and just carried on his one chase, that he may have been able to create something out of it, but he kind of gave up on it a little bit, and Carolina were able to regain possession of the ball.
Here's De Witt, the Dutchman. Again, a little too much power on the through ball. Timbakis takes no chances.
Yeah, again, that link up between Swartz and Wojcik on the right side, just not quite connecting as cleanly as they'd like to. But you can see the intent. The ball comes into Swartz. Wojcik tries to make the run ahead of him, just unable to connect that pass.
In the box. No defenders. Excellent save by Frederick Douay.
That's a complete let-off for Hartford there. A nothing ball turns out to be a fantastic goal-scoring opportunity. Christo just uses his body to get ahead of the defender. Tries to nutmeg the goalkeeper, but Douay managed to stand strong out for a corner.
Robert Christo has been quiet tonight, making the start as striker over the injured Marios Lomas. So close to equalizing. Here's Ben Spies. Leads the team in key passes with 32. The corner. Now sent away, a throw-in coming up. Fans making some great noise tonight. There's Aaron Guillen, the El Paso native. Couple touches now outside of the box. Poor pass from Al-Badawi. There is going to be that initial feeling out the new teammates, things like that. Again, he was previously with this team, but just injected a couple days ago. And there's going to be that level of trust and communication to work on.
Yeah, it's going to take a little time for him to gel back with the team, to regain his full match fitness.
So the trainers are going to be called out here. 2 players on the ground.
Looks like a clash of heads, possibly.
Igbekoy for North Carolina. Looking to see who it is for Hartford. I believe it's Wojciech. Yeah, he just got body checked.
Yeah, he kind of gets blindsided. No intent in it whatsoever. Good to see both players back on their feet.
I'm not sure what Igbekoy was going for there. But Wojciech is okay. As we approach the 54th minute. Still 1-0 for Hartford. So you see Harry Swartz, the goal scorer. Fans thought that should be Hartford getting the ball back, and North Carolina will oblige.
Yeah, you could hear the back exchange, your conversation. You know, the players thought that Angulo shot the ball after he went down injured, so therefore they don't believe there was a need for them to give it back to them.
There's Colin Martin, number 23, who has been phenomenal on this team. Great pass accuracy, 87.3%. Leads the team in passes per 90 minutes. Some of his legacy comes off the field, though, as today, June 1st, the start of Pride Month. Just about a year ago, a little under a year ago, before Minnesota United's Pride match, he came out as gay on publicly, being the first pro player, excuse me, the only current pro player, active pro player, to do so. And so massive credit for him for being open and inspiring a lot of people who don't have too many role models in pro sports.
Yeah, he does a lot of industrious work in the middle of the park there for Hartford that goes unnoticed. You know, he's not quite a goal scorer, not the defensive player, but he does a lot of work in the middle of the park that helps the team gel and the connector between the midfield and the offense.
As that ball rolls across, still in play. Keeper off his mark, he gets back. A bicycle kick off target.
Little flamboyant play there. Taylor with the ball with the outside of his foot. Miller trying the bicycle kick, not quite a bicycle.
Colin Martin, by the way, on loan from Minnesota United. And talk about him being a great role model. He left Wake Forest early, played his soccer there, left early to go into the pros, but kept going with his college education, ended up earning his degree from George Washington University. And so an excellent role model. There's the offside flag is up. Great role model on the pitch and off the pitch for, of course, staying with his education and being unafraid to be himself. believe last week was North Carolina's Pride weekend, in their partnership with North Carolina Courage of the NWSL.
Yeah, Austin DeLuz for North Carolina is very active. You know, he's a very integral member of standing up for rights for everybody. And, you know, it's good to see the league embracing and being more open and fair and just to everybody.
Absolutely. And you credit soccer being on the forefront of that social activism when it comes to across, as we see a yellow card issued. As soccer has really been out there with, I believe it was the first outgate player in Rogers years ago before it happened in any other league, and of course on the women's side as well. And really have been on the forefront when it comes to equality, as we see a yellow card issued to Raymond Lee. And so we always want to give a shout out to any player who helps advance the cause, especially with that one-year anniversary coming up. Lee, who started all but one game this season. Now from the set piece. A poor clearance in the box. Too many bodies for Hartford. Still going, and a goal for North Carolina. Yamakani Chester equalizes in the 58th minute.
Absolute calamitous defending has gifted a goal to North Carolina. There's a good delivery from Al-Badawi in the first place. The first one was dealt with. A wild clearance ends up giving the assist to Carolina to get the equalizing goal.
I believe that was Jorgensen who should have cleared it.
Both Jorgensen, then you see Lee dive in there on Chester when there's no need, when he should have been patient and just kept himself on his feet and been a good defender. Two slack instances of lack of concentration has cost Hartford in this game and allowed Carolina back in. 1-1.
So a huge goal in the 59th minute from Yamakani Chester out of Malawi. And this match is all tied up at 1 apiece.
And it's an old cliche, but goals change games, and it'd be very interesting now to see a momentum shift in how this game's been played and see Carolina start to take the open hand now.
And we saw after that first-minute goal from Hartford, they kept on going. They stayed aggressive. They had a ton of energy coming off of that.
Yeah, that's really a punch in the stomach to Hartford there, to concede a goal in that manner. You know, when they played so well over the course of 60 minutes so far in this game, to concede a goal like that is really hard for them to take. But now they have to lift themselves and go again and see if they can go and get the winning goal.
Nearly an hour down, 30 minutes to go. This one all tied up at 1 apiece.
You'd have to be, Coach Jimmy Nielsen will be excessively frustrated with how they've conceded that goal. A needless opportunity, a goal literally out of nothing. A set piece that was dealt with initially, just a wild clearance, sliced the ball back into the box, and bad defending from Lee allowed Chester to get the ball down, slam that one home to get Carolina back into this game. 1-1.
Absolutely, it really should have been cleared. As we see Swartz on the ground. And a yellow card issued to Aaron Guillen. And Hartford has played a great game, and that goal really, I mean, you don't want to take too much away from North Carolina, but really just should not have been the case if they had cleared that properly.
Looks like Guillen's elbow went into the back of Swartz's head there. The referee deeming it as dangerous play and awarding a yellow card.
Hey, be alert here, come on.
The referee has issued a yellow card to North Carolina.
So Guillen picks up the yellow as this game remains 1-1. Caught by Timbakis.
Wasted opportunity there, free kick driven straight into the goalkeeper's hands.
Timbakis, his second year with this club, previously with Sporting Kansas City at the MLS level. Now given away to Colin Martin.
Now it'll be interesting to see if...
In the box, a chip. Just off target, but another big chance given to Stephen Miller.
Yeah, we spoke about Miller. You know, he pops up in places where he can get goals. I think if he hits that one low and hard, probably finds itself in the back of the net, but he just caught himself leaning back and over the crossbar. But it's a great run. He does well with his first touch. Just tries to lift it over the keeper. Just a little too much on it. But it'll be interesting to see, you know, how this game plays out for the remainder. If Carolina do manage to steal a point from this game, you know, you'd have to give them credit because it's not been when they've played at their best. You know, today they've been far from their best, but if they're still able to come away with a point when they've not performed well, you know, that's a signal of a decent team, a good team who's able to go and challenge for trophies come the end of the season.
By the way, early as we see a pass from Colin Martin, just saw earlier today actually on Twitter, he gave a shout out to Austin DeLuz from North Carolina, his opposing club today, for all the work he does for the LGBT plus community. A shot off target from Jose Angulo.
It's a good effort there from Angulo. Again, he's looked lively over the course of this game. See him, a good first touch, brings it down on his left foot, tries to strike with his not so dominant right foot, but you can tell by the reaction of the fans, you know, it's a valiant effort, and it wasn't as close as we might have thought, but
it was a nice handle off his left foot.
Yeah.
To settle that ball down and give himself a chance, just the finish not there. 64th minute. Carolina in the midfield. That through ball too much. Picked up by Douay. Nice ball on the near flank. Played in from Stephen Miller. It seems like Miller and Chester have switched on the wings, by the way. Miller now playing more as a left wing, Chester on the right.
Yeah, Hartford just need to settle down and become a little more composed. Just giving away the ball unnecessarily, swinging clearances instead of trying to find passes defensively from the back, making some errant passes and giving possession to Carolina, who we know are a good team in possession.
In the box, sent away by DeVitt. Hartford hoping to counter. Angulo pulls back. Centers it with DeVitt.
Angulo does a good job of keeping possession there, but you don't want to see Angulo out wide picking up the ball. This is where you want him. You want him picking the ball up in the middle, where he's able to get shots off goal, where he's able to be in a threatening place to score goals. If he's out wide, you know, you're wondering who's going to be in the middle to score those goals. You need Angulo to stay in between the goalposts.
Right now it seems Wojcik the other one, but Wojcik still hasn't scored yet this year. Angulo with 3 goals. And as you mentioned, a great career for Angulo, scoring goals. More than just this year.
In the first half, we saw, you know, Wojcik was doing a better job of dropping to help the midfield and dropping a little bit deeper. Angulo was staying more as the target man up top.
Nice turn and go. In the box. Centered. Little heavy touch from Spies. Igbekoy back to Spies. Now wide to the right. Chester, the goal scorer for North Carolina. Dispossessed by the left winger, Sebastian Dalgard. It will be a throw-in, though, for North Carolina.
Carolina now starting to be the more dominant.
On the left flank, Guillen. Cross. Caught by Douay. Nice grab out of the air for Frederick Douay, showing that confidence.
Yeah, good confident goalkeeping there. Being able to come and clear those balls, it instills confidence in his defenders in his back four to know that they have that security behind them. You know, a goalkeeper is able of easily dealing with those situations.
A poor pass. Here's Chester. Takes a long distance strike. It's off target.
Yeah, we've spoken about Hartford creating their own problems. Here we see a goalkeeper coming up, nice and confident collecting that ball from the cross. But we spoke about Hartford now creating their own problems. They're giving away the ball. The defenders earlier in the game, they were playing very simple, finding the midfielders, getting the ball back, being patient in their build-up. Over the past 3 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, we've seen the defenders now, you know, trying to play a little bit more direct and giving away possession needlessly as a result of it. They need to go back to what worked for them in the first half simplify the game, play quicker, be more intense, be aggressive in how they approach the game. You know, that's what brought them to success in the first half. Why deviate from it in the second half?
Into the box, being chased down, but it was a little too much. Substitution coming in for North Carolina. Graham Smith, the midfielder from Bucks County, Pennsylvania, will enter this match for Victor Igbekoy. Smith started his collegiate career at Pitt, transferred to USF in Tampa. Had 32 appearances last year for NCFC.
Yeah, we spoke earlier about Carolina trying to gain ground on the games that they have in hand over the three teams above them. And I think, you know, this is a substitution where they're going to go and push and try to get that winning goal.
North Carolina has been the more aggressive team in the last 5-10 minutes or so, without a doubt. It's got to be frustrating for Hartford after how well they played for pretty much the entirety of the first half.
Yeah, and the manner that they conceded the goal will be the most frustrating thing. You know, it wasn't a byproduct of North Carolina moving the ball quickly and cutting them open with you know, flair attacking play. It was a byproduct of a complete error from defense, some bad defending from Lee, allowing just the time and space to get that ball down and drill it into the corner. Nothing the keeper can do, just a complete lapse of defender and some bad individual defending that's allowed Carolina back into this game.
Outside of the box, Lee sends it away. Here's Wojcik. A chance for North Carolina, Ben Spees. The through pass into the box, across, sent away. Nice work by Sem DeWitt. We will see a corner kick, though.
Yeah, and it looks a little bit like Hartford, again, a little bit tired in the middle of the park there. They're getting a little bit overrun. North Carolina now playing a little bit quicker through the middle. And, you know, it'd be interesting to see if Coach Jimmy has any changes he can make in the game to freshen things up, because we spoke about, you know, the game that they had midweek in the Open Cup, the injuries that they have. Maybe some of these players are starting to feel that a little bit, and to maintain the state that they have in this game, they need some fresh legs out there.
Corner kick in the 69th minute. Headers off target, a goal kick coming up. These teams both played midweek in US Open Cup play. Neither match too positive for either. For Hartford, it was a bit of a disaster. They lost 4-0. They're just going to try to put that out of their heads and move on. North Carolina, they did win. They advanced, but not a great game, just a 1-0 victory.
Dewey, a very, very competent keeper with his feet playing out from the back. We've seen him hit some lovely diagonal passes. We've just seen him link up there with the defenders, playing out like a midfielder. You know, the way the game is heading now, that's exactly how goalkeepers need to be. They need to be able to play with their feet.
And again, he has not been the goalkeeper all season long. It's been back and forth with Jacob Lissick, so it's definitely a positive for Hartford to see Dewey with such confidence and composure. That header, nobody there.
Yeah.
Again, you see Dewey calling off his defender.
This is going to be the issue. That header there is only a small detail, but you see both centre-backs going up for the same ball with the forward. You know, they shouldn't be going up for the same ball. There should be communication. One should be challenging, one should be covering. When you start to see both centre-backs, they're the little details and little errors that can cost teams in games.
Here's Logan Gadula. Seems like they've shifted a bit. He's the center back, but now he seems to be more of a left back, and they've moved Raymond Lee forward and maybe dropped Jorgensen back a little bit. Foul called against North Carolina with Wojcik on the ground. Martin wants to move quickly.
Wojcik down, grabbing his ankle, and his own teammate gets the ball and play quickly. I'm sure he'll appreciate that one.
Here's Angulo, plays it wide to Lee, slow roller. Back to Wojcik. Seems to be all right now. Sent in. That get a touch off North Carolina? Yes. Meanwhile, a pair of substitutes about to check in for the home squad. Jonathan Brown, the Welsh native, about to check in, as well as Alex Dixon, both wingers. Brown on the left, Dixon on the right. So Swartz, the goal scorer, will exit this match. Scored about 17 seconds in. One of the faster goals in USL Championship history. Fastest was, I believe, 9.17 seconds. So Angulo coming off. Had a good game, failed to score though. So Angulo is out, as is Harry Swartz, the two men who linked up for the goal in that first minute. Swartz the scorer, Angulo with the assist.
Yeah, and we spoke about fresh legs, and it looks like Coach Nielsen has made this change right at the time when his team needed some extra energy out there.
Nice takeaway for North Carolina. The pass from Cristo. Now Al-Badawi goes wide to Chester. Al-Badawi into the box. Again, cannot link up with the teammates.
Yeah, it's a lack of communication there. He didn't need to head that one out for a corner. He even had time to bring that one out, get it down and play forward, but now gives himself a chance where they're going to be defending a set piece from Carolina.
So the corner kick to be taken by Ben Spees. Went to school in Chapel Hill at North Carolina. Spent 4 years with the Columbus Crew in MLS. Has been able to come back to a state he's called home. Off the header, way too high, so a goal kick coming.
Yeah, the forward just got up a little bit earlier there. Brotherton just hanging in the air a little bit earlier, unable to head that one down towards goal.
Played back by Jorgensen.
Yeah, some good play in the middle there from Jorgensen.
And no one there. Poor pass from Gadula.
Yeah, the centre-backs have struggled for Hartford in the past 10 minutes to keep possession for their team. Most of the time, the plays kick-starting from there, they've relied on to start their counter-attacks, and they haven't been as responsible in possession of the ball as they would have been like to be, especially how responsible they were in the early stage of the game, especially the first half. They were good at kick-starting the attacks for their team.
Here's Wojcik, plays it off his chest. Through ball. Cannot be kept in play.
Yeah, Dalgard making the run, but the ball was just a little too far ahead of him. Slick surface, you can see it's just skidded off, and able to keep that one in play. Dixon looks like he's adopted the role as the main out-and-out striker. Coming in for Angulo, and Wojcik looks like he's just playing a little bit deeper behind him. We know Dixon, he possesses unique attacking threats, you know, a very, very fast player. Something a little bit different to how Angulo plays. You know, Angulo's a little bit slower, more composed, keeps the team in possession a little bit. Dixon's more of a forward who looks to run in behind.
Dixon actually played at North Carolina in college with Ben Spees, just a year apart. Dixon slightly older. Alex Dixon, another player with experience at Oklahoma City, playing for Jimmy Nielsen. Here's Colin Martin, plays it back.
Yeah, Coach Nielsen, he's obviously brought players across who he knows, who he feels he can trust. You know, he feels he can get the best out of them. He enjoys working with them, and he knows what they're going to deliver to the team.
Hartford Athletic fans, there's still time to vote for your Cigna Man of the Match on Twitter using hashtag CignaMOTM. Nice grab from Due. You could hear the contact on that ball. Nice touch from Cristo.
Again, we've spoken about the centre-backs for Hartford being the problem in the distribution right now. There's another example where he has nice possession of the ball. There's no reason for him to turn that ball over. And an errant pass, again, is giving Carolina the ball to kickstart their attack.
Here's Brotherton, the center back out of New Zealand. Guillen. Here's Comcia, another UNC player. Was named ACC Defender of the Year. Has a ton of passes, still moving forward. Now finds Spees. Through ball looking for Chester. Too much on them.
Yeah, just a little too much on that ball from Spees. But, you know, so many of these players for North Carolina have ties to the region. You know, many of them went to school locally. Many of them came up through the academy or through the U23 team. You know, they really have a unique bond to this team.
Yeah, it's rare actually when you see a player who hasn't either played or is from or something to do with North Carolina. There are a handful. Stephen Miller is from the Philly area and went to school at Colgate. Christo is St. Louis, born and raised, went to college in St. Louis. Chester from Malawi, but a ton of these players do have a connection to the region. Whistle blows behind the play. North Carolina upset about it. Looked like there was a foul. Tune in to ESPN News on Wednesday, June 5th for Wednesday Night Soccer when OKC Energy FC travels to Albuquerque to face current Western Conference leaders New Mexico United. It's the week's best match on Wednesday Night Soccer, June 5th on ESPN News. Of course, the next home game for Hartford Athletic coming up on June 8th. Got those $2 hot dogs to look forward to.
Yeah, and it looks like you're right. It looks like Hartford have switched formation. They almost switched to maybe 3 at the back.
As they are not content with a draw against one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. They won 3 points. Still in play. Nice job to stop it in the corner. Good through ball into Lee. Cuts back. Lee nowhere to go. Now Delgard. Gadula, the center back. Foul from him prevented a goal earlier. Now all the way back to Sem DeVitt. That ball was in the box with the pressure from North Carolina. Now it's all the way back to the keeper.
Yeah, we're seeing a completely different approach from Hartford going into the last stage of this game.
79th minute. Ball stays in play. Alex Dixon crosses it, but too much. Nobody there.
Yeah, not the best ball from Dixon, but Hartford look like they're definitely going after this win in the remaining 15 minutes of this game. They're not sitting back whatsoever. They're pushing their fullbacks forward. They're pushing their midfielders forward. Of course, naturally, the wingers are very attacking-minded. You know, they're not content to just take a point from Carolina. They want 3 points this evening.
And credit to them, Jimmy Nielsen, top-down attitude for not being content with the draw, even though they're sitting in last place. They want this win. It would be their first win at home as a first-year club. Hartford Athletic is proud to welcome Stanley Black & Decker as a founding partner. Stay tuned each week for the Stanley Innovative Play of the Game.
Referee just calling handball against Wojciech. They're skidded off the surface into his hand rather than his body, and North Carolina here again looking to kickstart their attack and see if they can go on to get this winning goal.
You just get the sense that there's still a lot more left in this game. Both of these teams remain hungry.
Yeah, there's still 10 minutes left plus stoppage time. You know, I have a feeling inside that we're due to see at least one more goal.
Oh, it would certainly be exciting. Again, with my partner, Chris Nurse, I'm Corey Cohen. Thrilled to be joining you on this Saturday night from Connecticut. North Carolina in the attacking third. Wide to Chester. Nowhere to go for Chester. And he's taken away by Martin.
Hartford doing a good job out of possession to get 2 lines of 4 behind the ball. You know, immediately turning over, they're getting 8 players at least behind the ball defending. Makes it very difficult for North Carolina to play penetrative passes in between them and find spaces.
So a substitution for North Carolina. Dre Fortune, another Raleigh native, enters this match for Ben Spees.
Carolina,
Spees, a relatively quiet game.
Carolina making their own offensive changes, you know, taking out Ben Spees, who's played as attacking midfielder for them. Be interesting to see if Fortune drops into the defensive midfielder role and they push Abadawi a little bit further going into these last 10 minutes and really go after that winning goal.
It's Fortune's 3rd season with North Carolina. There's a phenomenal 86% accuracy on his passes. So Spies exits after a quiet night. Here in the 82nd minute. We'll see if Dre Fortune can make his mark on the game. Hartford in the attacking third. In the box. That is so off target. A great opportunity.
Yeah, Wojciech there just on his unfavored right foot. Had it been on his left foot, I think we would have seen a better effort, but the ball just came back to him a little bit quick. He's leaning back way over the crossbar with that one from Wojciech, but inside the box, you'd expect him to test the keeper at least. Good opportunity there for Hartford to test the keeper and get another shot on target, but opportunity wasted.
And for Hartford, there's a bit of a glass half empty, half full scenario because they've played very well and they've had some great opportunities, some great looks for goal. So that's the glass half full, is that they have played an excellent match against one of the top teams in the East. The glass half empty part is that they still have just one goal to show for it.
Yeah, and Wojciech as an individual player, he works very hard for the team. You know, he's a forward, and forwards need to score goals for their confidence. You know, for the hard work that he's doing for the team, it doesn't go unnoticed, but I'm sure he'll want a few goals for his own conscience just to, you know, put himself at rest. Goal scorers, they obviously need to score goals.
Nice touch in the midfield. It's being chased down. North Carolina forced to play back to Tambakis. Now 84th minute.
Carolina now starting to move the ball a little bit quicker.
Guillen. Into the central midfield, Fortune. Played back.
Playing with a little bit more energy, a little bit more urgency now.
So it seems like Fortune has dropped back. Now Stephen Miller. Al-Badawi. Yakamani Chester equalized in the 59th minute. Outside of the box. And that just rolls all the way across. Goal kick coming.
Some good possession, some good play there from Carolina to create the goal scoring opportunity, but just not enough on that final shot from Al-Badawi to test the keeper.
It's very off target. Back to Brotherton. Fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy.
Carolina now very much the team dominating possession. And if you're Hartford, you either bank in and try to catch them on the counter-attack and try to defend out these last 10 minutes of this game, or you may end up getting punished because Carolina now started to move the ball as we know they can.
Last few minutes, they've picked up the tempo. Chester in the box. Dribbles back out. Just outside. Thought about it. Taken away. Miller, a long-distance strike. It's too high.
Fortune there in the middle, giving away possession, but Carolina doing a good job to win it back quickly. And Miller again, threatening the keeper with that long-distance effort, but just a little too far over the crossbar.
Nicky Downs to enter the match for Wojciech. Downs, talk about all the local players for North Carolina. Downs is local. He's from Connecticut, went to Yale. In fact, played every game for Yale over 4 years.
Yeah, Wojciech's work ethic has to be commended. For a big guy, covers a lot of ground. He's a very willing worker for the team, puts in a great shift. But now Downs will possibly give Hartford that little bit of extra energy that they need. Last 5 minutes of the game, see what they can come up with.
Here is Chester. 87th minute. Any goal would likely be a game winner. Now down the pitch. And a little shove. Then a foul called against North Carolina.
Yeah, they need to be smart. The last thing Hartford want to do is go giving away needless fouls in this area of the pitch. Just be smart, be a good defender.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that was not called on DeVitt.
Half of one, 6 a dozen of the other in that situation.
Foul again against NCFC.
Yeah, again, it's a fortunate call. I think first touch there is very poor from the Hartford defender. Referee ends up giving the decision in his favor.
Here's Colin Martin. Nice pass from Martin, again on loan from Minnesota United in the MLS. Foul called.
Game's got a little bit nicky in the last 5 minutes. You know, a lot of chippy fouls.
Yeah, here we saw Kyle Karinga go down.
Just killing any kind of momentum for both teams. However, just 2 minutes into until we hit the 90th minute mark, be interested to see if Hartford just put this one into the box and see what they can create.
Clock ticking away. Here's Jorgensen. A long strike headed out. Now Raymond Lee. Sends it forward. And a corner kick coming up for Hartford.
Smart play by Dalgard there. Just chases down the ball, forces North Carolina to give away the corner kick. They'll send their big bodies up. They'll send their center backs up. Let's see if they can go and steal a winner. Just 90 seconds remaining in the regular time.
Hartford has used all their substitutions. North Carolina looks like it'll hold on to their third. Corner kick coming for Jorgensen. No chance there. It's headed cleanly out. Karinga. Into the box. Martin. Dribbles back. 2 defenders. And Martin is stripped. Nice defense there from North Carolina. We will see a throw-in, though, for Hartford Athletic.
Yeah, Hartford just want to keep the pressure on in these last few stages of the game.
Throw-in is back. Can either team find a game winner? This through pass down the right flank. Finding Jonathan Brown. And the whistle blew before the cross. So goal kick coming for North Carolina.
Yeah, I think Coach Jimmy Nielsen be a little bit frustrated with the nature that they conceded the goal. You know, if they don't concede that unnecessary goal, they probably find themselves the better of the two teams this evening and they take all 3 points. But, you know, again, it's going to give this team confidence. They picked up points against Ottawa, who are a very good team in this division. They've now potentially picked up points. We have 3 minutes of overtime left against North Carolina, who are a very strong team. You know, these are positive signs for Coach Jimmy Nielsen and his Hartford team. Carolina, on the other hand, I think they'll feel that if the scoreline remains like this, it's 2 points dropped for them to catch up with the 3 teams above them in the table.
So just 3 minutes remaining approximately. Al-Badawi, too much on the cross. No trouble for Douay. So Al-Badawi obviously heralded a big return for North Carolina FC. Hasn't made too much of a mark, at least not in this match, but you expect moving forward he'll gain some steam.
Yeah, I think it's going to take him a little bit of time to catch his full match fitness, but you can see the quality there, the intense there. You know, he's going to add to their offensive power going forward.
Again, was at the MLS level this season, had not played though. So this is his first minutes of the 2019 season. Here's DeVitt. We'll give and go. Lee, a through ball on the right flank, too high for Brown.
Just overhit that one. 2 minutes now. If either team's really going to get something out of this game, both teams, you know, they need to be a little bit more direct in how they play. Get that ball forward. Just 90 seconds left.
Here's Chester. The equalizer in the 58th minute.
A little bit of urgency needed from both teams.
North Carolina plays it all the way to the back line. Doesn't seem like there's too much urgency here. Miller. Miller now with some space. Across, sent away.
Yeah, a byproduct. All those passes, they need to create a goal-scoring opportunity at the end of it. Right now, the possession's good.
At the edge of the box, the extra pass.
Oh, I think Abadawi would want that one back. If he settles that one down, there's a fantastic opportunity to get a shot off on target there.
Well, Badawi's still a little bit rusty in this match.
There we see the long diagonal port. The forward does well. Chester cuts inside, finds Abadawi, just unable to settle that ball down.
There's a great header from Chester on the one touch.
This may be the last scoring opportunity of this game.
Corner kick coming for North Carolina FC in the final seconds. It's on the edge of the box, and now grabbed by Frederick Douay.
And if you're Douay, just kill things down, you probably take the point. The last thing you want to do is give possession back to North Carolina and allow them to come on the counter-attack again.
Well, that's what they've done. Fortune dispossessed, but it won't matter. That is full time as these teams have tied. 1-1 is the final.
I think is a good point for Hartford. Probably 2 points dropped for North Carolina in their chase to catch up with the teams above them, but Hartford keep going on an upward trajectory now. They keep building confidence, taking points from the teams who are judged to be bigger than them in this division. I think Coach Jimmy Nielsen will be frustrated in the manner in which they conceded the goal, but very happy in their performance as a team.
Yeah, again, there's that glass half full, half empty. They played a great match. They nearly got their first home win ever as a club, but they gave away a poor goal, and this is a 1-1 draw. Stay with us, folks. We're wrapping it up. Final score here from Connecticut right after the break. Okay. Okay. Great.
Oh, well, no one hammered us on Twitter.
Oh, that's good. At least not in our mentions. Score is final here from Connecticut here on MyTV9 and ESPN Plus. A 1-1 final between Hartford Athletic and North Carolina FC. Our Cigna man of the match is none other than Harry Swartz, who scored the goal 17 seconds in. Just a phenomenal goal for him to earn a point for Hartford Athletic. Let's take a look at all that happened in this match. You see Swartz playing some drums there. So let's take a look at the highlights, of course, starting early with the goal from Harry Swartz, a great assist from Jose Angulo.
Yeah, Swartz, a never-ending worker for the team. Rightfully gets what he deserves here. Angulo, good left foot, gets it down, drills it across the box. Swartz makes the run, finishes it off nicely.
So an electric start in the first minute. Hartford Athletic heading up 1-0. They nearly went up 2-0, but this goal taken away after a foul called against Logan Gadula.
Yeah, Gadula here a little bit hard to describe it, but Miller with the own goal. If Gadula doesn't give away a foul here, they would have found themselves 2-0 in the league. The referee warned Gudula just before the set piece to stop, and he didn't pay attention.
A nice save there from Dewey to prevent the equalizer for North Carolina at that point.
Yeah, Christo with a good opportunity there. Creates it himself, uses his body well, good strength, tries to not make the keeper. The keeper does well.
And Dewey did not flinch. Nice day for the Danish keeper.
And here's the goal. Good delivery from Al-Dawi. Ridiculous clearance. Lee dives in. Fantastic finish from Chester in the end. Here it is. The ball just comes out here. This one should be cleared away. Shanks it back into the box. Miller shanks it. Lee dives in. Chester's left all alone to bury that one into the back of the net.
So a poor defensive series there for Hartford Athletic. Really could have had their first home win, but instead they'll walk away with the draw. Take a look at the stats from this match. Two very even teams. Hartford played perhaps a little bit better in the first half. North Carolina maybe a bit better in the second half. But for the most part, these teams remarkably even.
Yeah, both teams very even in possession. Earlier in the first half, Hartford definitely the more aggressive. Towards the second half, especially the latter stages, North Carolina took the game by the scruff of the neck. Hartford possibly could count themselves lucky to hold on to towards the end, but I think 1-1 is probably a fair reflection of the game in hindsight.
And we might not have expected that given the standings entering today. North Carolina top 4, Hartford Athletic at the bottom, but two teams who played incredibly even. Now let's take a look at the Stanley Black & Decker play of the game. And of course, it has to be the goal 17 seconds in from Harry Swartz.
Yeah, Swartz, a guy, he creates his own luck. You know, he makes the run, the ball's delivered, he's there, arrives at the right time, goal.
And such an electric start for Hartford Athletic. The crowd was going wild, and it really set the tone for things to come for Hartford. Only a shame if you're a fan of the club that they couldn't score more goals, as they had a lot of opportunities. They played a good game offensively. And it all started with this play of the game from none other than Harry Swartz. Looks like he's about to be interviewed. So we want to thank you all so much for joining us on this one. Again, 1-1 the final score between Hartford Athletic and North Carolina FC. We want to thank you all so much for joining us on this Saturday night. For our producer, Tim McDermott, our director, Jim Clark, on replay, Carly Gallant, my partner, Chris Nurse, and our entire crew. I'm Corey Cohen, signing off from Connecticut.
Copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.